What's going on, everybody? Today we have Shaqir Hussyin from funnels.com all the way out of London. How are we doing today?
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me here. I'm just very grateful to be here.
Amazing, amazing. And Shaqir, what is it that you actually do, and how do you generate revenue for funnels.com? Which, by the way, I want to throw out, you have the domain name funnels.com, which is pretty crazy. Russell must be trying to buy that from you.
Yeah, and a few others too. So I appreciate it. Again, my name is Shaqir Hussyin, founder of funnels.com, and we help entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants that are usually at the six-figure level. They're experts, they've got some domain expertise, and they want to build a seven-figure or even an eight-figure business where they're positioned as the only one in their own blue ocean. So that's what we really help them do from a consulting and coaching perspective. And then, the back end for that is my funnelsagency.com, which is basically where we offer done for you sales funnels.
Love it. I love it. And what, out of all of your customers, and you might have a different customer avatar across your entire business, but who is your ideal customer avatar niche? Who's like the type of businesses or that type of niche that you like to focus on the most?
Yeah, so it's a financial planner, 46 years old, makes $200,000 a year, wants to take his expertise and his decades of experience as a business owner online and scale it, and so he can help more people. The three big problems are they're relying on one-on-one sales, organic traffic, and relying on referrals. What they really want is an automated marketing system that positions them and gets them leads daily. So that's basically what we focus on. That's the ideal target market.
So would you say that for this financial planner, let's say I'm a financial planner, I come in, is it just that I want to basically create an online business? I don't have one and I want to create an online business, and you're going to help me out by offering me the coaching to actually go out and do that. But you said you do and build the funnels and everything as well. Is that correct?
So for some clients where we feel it's a fit, we would basically build their entire infrastructure out.
I got you.
They don't worry about any of the tech stuff, any funnel stuff. We do the whole from copywriting, putting the offer together, all of that.
Yeah. And now I know you have 2 ClickFunnels awards, right? You have 2 ClickFunnels X awards. For those of you guys listening, that is each one of those awards essentially that you have ran $10 million through a funnel, right? So essentially you've done $20 million through either 1 or 2 funnels, and you can tell me how many funnels that was used for. That's a lot of transactions being run through a funnel. How many current clients are you guys servicing right now?
So our model is essentially, Facebook ads to a webinar to a phone call, and then we figure out what the pain point of that customer is. And depending on what they're interested in, our average ticket price is actually $10,000.
Okay.
So that's why, we like working with business owners that are doing already 6 figures or maybe low 7 figures.
They're established, they could pay you.
Yeah, that's it. They can pay us. We want to work with clients, premium level clients that value premium level business, and they want a premium service. So we basically offer them the whole shebang, from done for you funnels, copywriting, webinars, all of that. Once they come in. So first we coach and consult them. And then if they can't do it themselves through the done with you, then we offer a done for you option.
I got you. And I want to dive into the funnel a little bit, because I know a lot of the audience, a lot of the people who are listening are marketers and they're agency owners, and they like talking about metrics and I think everybody does, especially if you're in the marketing and analytical space. So walk me through one of your funnels, because obviously you have a $10 million funnel sitting there somewhere in your ClickFunnels account. Walk me through, you said you're running Facebook ads traffic, which is pretty common in the space. So you're sending Facebook ads traffic to a funnel. Sounds to me like obviously it's a webinar. Is it a webinar style funnel where you're basically, and then at the end they're filling out an application? Would you say that that's right?
Yeah, that's basically it.
Okay.
Facebook to webinar to phone call.
Yeah. How much are you spending in Facebook ads a month driving traffic to that funnel?
For that specific $10 million funnel, so I've got quite a few, but I'm just going to talk about, the webinar funnel. Let's
go through that.
Yeah, let's just call it that, because if it's a marketer, they usually like to do what's called funnel hacking. So so I'll just tell you straight, we would spend whatever, $1, $2 per click to get the click. But the most important CPA that I'm looking for is how much I'm willing to spend to get an application.
Yep.
Right? So for me, if it's a booked call, and I've driven like 7,000 booked calls over my lifetime, basically, I would spend anywhere from $100 to $200 per application, per booked call. And my average ticket price would be $10K. On the low end, to make this model work, you have to have a $3K offer. So those are the two price points that I'd say, basically, to have $3K and a $10K offer.
Yep. I want to peel the onion back a little bit more, because I'm actually interested in this, because we also run webinar funnels. We send Facebook ad traffic. We have applications, very similar concept right here at DashClicks. Talk to me about traffic that's being sent. You said you spend an average about $1 to $2 per click. Let's just say for the hell of it, it's $2 a click. You send 100 people to the website, okay, or to your funnel. It costs you essentially $200 to get those people on the website. Out of those 100 people that land on your website, how many are actually opting in to watch the webinar? What's the webinar opt-in cost?
Yeah, so we would, I don't really care too much about the opt-in. Just, I'm just telling you, just when you're operating at a level where you're doing like you're focused on 8 figures and beyond, these things are a little bit, for me anyway, that's my own personal opinion, it's a little bit irrelevant, right? Like all I care about is cash in, cash out. Right? If I'm going to spend 10 grand, am I going to make 50K or am I going to make 100K?
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for.
But don't you think that webinar costs, those are the optimization factors in between the funnel to help the back end, right?
100%. So I'm going to dial into it. We typically aim for around 30 to 40% opt-in.
Okay. That's great.
The 30 to 40% opt-in, you can see the pages. We're always split testing. I have a guy that does all of this. On funnels.com. You could literally go there and see what's working. And then from funnels.com, then we have around 20%. I think it's around 15 to 20% of the people that watch the webinar, they book
the call or book. Yeah.
And then we want to always aim for at least 20 to 25% close on the sale. And
that's a $10,000 deal, essentially.
$10,000 deal. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Awesome. And essentially that's an engine that's running.
That's the engine that's running. I like to call it a simple, boring business. I have a very boring business. I've literally had this funnel before people knew what funnels were. Like I just had it 10 years ago. I was very fortunate. I became a millionaire when I was like 23, 24. So it's like, if you asked me back then what I was doing, it was that. I found a pain in the marketplace. I created a presentation that solved 1 or 2 or 3 of the pain points. And then he invited people to learn more on a phone call, and then we would basically sell them.
Yeah. Now, when you're running ads, are you targeting financial planners? Or are you targeting those guys?
Various different niches.
Okay.
So I'll give you the thinking behind it rather than just telling you who I'm targeting. So that will help you a lot more.
Yeah.
So when we find a group of people that's working, let's just say financial planners, we'll craft our webinars, our presentation to speak to that one client. We'll then take that and then we will duplicate it into different markets. Different markets meaning different industries, but not just different industries, different geography as well, in terms of different countries. So for example, I know the people in, let's just say in Asia, in Asian countries, okay, they vibe with my marketing message, they vibe with my products, they like my, what I present. And so I'm able to sell to them much more efficiently than, just trying to target people in America, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It makes perfect sense. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree with that. Okay. Awesome. And how big is your team size right now?
We have like 7 people, 6, 7 people.
Oh, wow. You guys are running lean for that much revenue. That's great. well, that's impressive, man.
When I was younger, I used to run a 55-person team, and I was doing $1 million a month when I was 28 years old. So very quickly I learned, what is revenue, what is net, and I was like, okay, I prefer to have a lean, mean, profit-making machine.
Yeah, and I think the cool part about the coaching space is you can actually run lean. Obviously, we have a coaching program too, and it runs very lean. You can literally have just a handful of people running a multi-million-dollar coaching program. And it sounds to me like obviously people are investing with you. So whatever it is that you're doing is working. So congratulations on that. And so let's go into a little bit further detail. So you've been doing this funnel for 10 years. I'm sure you've probably at some point, you've started building a massive brand for yourself, right? If Hussyin tomorrow wanted to send out a message, right? How many people do you think you would actually reach? And that's, if you gather your I don't know if you have a Facebook group, your email list, your bot list, whatever it is, you put all those people together, how many people are you actually hitting with your message?
I don't know. In terms of how many leads I've generated, it's over 1 million subscribers. So my main focus has always been email traffic. It's never been like social media. I do have a YouTube channel, by the way. Those of you listening, go to youtube.com/Shaqir Hussyin. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers.
Go get
anyway,
it.
That's a plug for my YouTube. No, I still think I'm a little bit more new to like doing social stuff, like Instagram, YouTube and whatever. But I built my business through email lists. So
do you believe it? Do you believe in the saying of generating? I think it's like, what is it, like generating $1 per email per month? Do you believe in that?
I believe in that. I think if you have a great list, you could do a lot more.
Yeah.
Yesterday,
an engage list, right?
Engage list. Yesterday, I was speaking to a friend who's got a 500,000 subscriber list that gets a 30% open rate.
That's great.
And especially in the marketing world where like 2% or 5% is like really good, he's getting 30%, 20 to 30% consistently.
Yeah. The way that I like to look at it, because we have a pretty big list at DashClicks too, with all people that sign up and buy our programs and stuff like that. I like to see how many people are active in like the last 90 days, how many people opened an email of ours, right? And I'll put those and segment those into like a separate section. And those are like my active style users, right? What you see in the marketing space, and as marketers start building lists, attrition happens and people will actually start coming on, but a lot of people also start falling off on the back end, right? And that's one thing people should note out there for those of you guys viewing. If you see somebody like, I have 1 million people or I have 10 million people on my list, that doesn't mean that they're speaking to those 10 million people. Yeah. They're speaking most likely.
The people that I actually constantly communicate with, I'd say is probably around 40 to 50,000.
Yeah. There you go. You guys heard it first.
And then and I'm just telling you, these are the numbers, right? Because a lot of the times people will say 1 million subscribers and then it's like, what? This guy must be a genius. It's not that, right? Like, because I was buying lists and building lists when it was like way more cheaper through solo ads. So like, anyone that's stuck in a comparisonitis mode, just always remember that there's more to it than what you see. And a lot of marketers won't tell you that. So I'm telling you this. And then from I'd say, 40 to 50,000 people that are engaged, of which I would say, from an 80-20 perspective, most of my profits come from around 3,000 to 5,000 of those leads. So around, 3,000 to 5,000 people produce almost most of my profits.
Makes sense.
From the 3,000, I could literally tell you, I probably made 90% of my income from 1,000 of them.
80-20 rule, right? Yeah. And it makes perfect sense. And it's funny because I have, I do a lot of these podcasts and very similar answers we're hearing where it's like, 80% of the people are the small guys coming in and out buying small stuff. 10 to 20% of the people are the guys who are making up the majority of the revenue for the company. And that makes perfect sense. It's very similar at DashClicks too. We have our big enterprise customers, right, that spend a lot of money with us that'll load in 100, 200 clients. And then we have the guy who just comes on, adds one client, which is perfectly fine. We service both, right? But just standard 80-20 rule, and that makes perfect sense. Do you, and I know you're in the funnel world, okay, with funnels.com. Do you believe in the value ladder that Russell Brunson preaches? Or do you have a value ladder?
I have my own value ladder. My one goes a little bit more extreme than what most people do. But I do that in terms of like, if you ask me a specific question, I could go much deeper. Sure, value ladder, yeah, absolutely. It's just basic math, 80-20, one-on-one marketing. A certain group of premium level clients will always purchase more. So I have $50,000 programs and beyond in my business, but it's not advertised because most people aren't the clientele. Does that make sense?
Yeah, you don't really advertise those high ticket stuff unless somebody's fully indoctrinated and worked with you for a while. I feel like that's when you open the doors to them, right? It's like a very close knit circle, essentially. I agree with you. Yeah, I think that's great. So you're saying, so 10K is just to start, and then there's some higher end products that you have on the back end, right?
Yeah, there's definitely more higher end stuff.
Okay. And what's the biggest needle mover for you? If you could take everything that you've done in the last 10 years, what was the one thing that you did that drove the most revenue for you? That one big change?
You know, this might not be an answer that you like or most people like, but I'm not one to want to be liked. So I'm just going to tell you straight up. It's riding the trend with long-lasting business principles. So for example, you know, you can ask me stuff about, we run Facebook ads, YouTube ads, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, a whole bunch of stuff we do, right? Like, I honestly don't care about probably 95% of it. I don't know. I don't ever remember even placing a Facebook ad, right? Like, I spent millions of dollars of my cash. I spent a lot of money on traffic. I don't do that because for me, that's still very tactical. Whereas if I look at the big trend 3, 5, 10 years from now, where is it going? Why does it matter? How can I ride it? That's been my, you know, like way back in 2009 when I started off, I was very fortunate to have real mentors, guys that had built big companies in Silicon Valley, and, you know, a few people that have done like 9 figures, even $1 billion. And some of the wisdom that they imparted on me made me realize, oh, I don't need to know everything. I just need to know the one or two. So the one or two things, the big needle mover is making sure that you are riding a trend. So for example, funnels.com and salesfunnels.com, and I've had offers, a lot of offers.
I'm sure.
But here's the thing. People now see funnels.com because I was actually building wealthacademy.com. Those 2 domains I spent, between those 2 and a few others, I spent like 6 figures buying. But here's the thing. I bought it 5 years ago. Right? Like,
that's when funnels were essentially just starting, really.
Yeah. And I remember paying close to 50 grand just for funnels.com alone. Right. And so some people are like, wow, you own these domains. And I'm like that's such
what I'm curious, what's an offer you got for funnels.com?
Well, I just tell you for one, because I own a wide variety of them. I got offered 7 figures cash just for one of them. So I'm going to tell you which one, but just one of the ones.
I believe it. I'm good friends with somebody who has a big domain selling company, and I'm friends with him on Facebook. And every day he's posting, sold his domain 180,000, sold his domain 240,000. And these are domains that he's purchased, and he also puts the purchase price. So it's like $3, bought in like 2001, sold for 140 grand, right? Like crazy stuff like that. So there's a lot of money in domains, especially if you're building a brand like somebody, you know, I'll go back to Russell Brunson, who would love to get funnels.com, salesfunnels.com. Those are big brand names that would attach a lot of traffic going to his actual products, which is great. You know, you're generating a lot of leads. You're running a lot of Facebook ads traffic. What would you say on average? I'm just going to backpedal because I don't think we got the answer. What do you think you're spending on paid ads a month for funnels.com? Just give me a rough number.
I go through phases, but we could spend anywhere from 100K all the way up to 200-300K.
Okay, that's pretty good. Good. And then you're obviously generating a shit ton of leads coming through that, right? What are you doing with all the leads? What CRM are you using to track and kind of keep control of everything?
Active Campaign.
Okay, good.
Infusionsoft, and the rest give me headaches, just to be very frank.
Look, there's tons of I know from a software company, because we develop software. Just from a software perspective, it's very hard to find one software that is like a perfect fit for your business model, right? And that's why sometimes you'll have to get multiple, like you're using Infusionsoft and Active Campaign versus having one that does both, right? So is that working for you? Is it working smooth?
No, it's not smooth. It's working. It's not smooth.
It's not smooth. Okay.
We signed up for OAP. We're making our own one. There you go. That's what my team
is. There you go. All right. So next time we get you on the podcast, we'll talk about your new one that's coming out. What does your sales process look like? Okay, somebody comes in, they opt in for the webinar, they watch the webinar, they schedule a call. What am I on a Zoom call? Is this what are you doing the call? What's happening here?
a simple call with an enrollment advisor to see how we can help them, if we can help them. You know, what makes us really different is because I've built a brand, wealthacademy.com, which kind of plugs into funnels. What happens is, depending on where the person is located, we will host live events. So two things that really boosts our conversions and kind of puts us in a unique perspective, unique field, is because we do a lot of email marketing, but we also do live events. So, you know, anyone that doesn't want to buy our products online, that's okay. We have a whole seminar company that will, you know, serve that person. Obviously, because of COVID right now, we're not doing as much.
Sure. Are you doing the virtual summits? Because I know we just did a virtual summit. We had, you know, close to 500 agencies on there. So that was a great outcome for us.
That's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, we do challenges and summits and Zooms and all of that stuff just to kind of scoop up the low hanging.
How many people, like when you were doing the summits, what's the room size look like?
Like 200. I think
That's good.
Yeah, 200. And this is really just with me. So I don't really have like special guests coming on or.
Yeah, you're just doing, is it like a 1 day, 2 day thing?
5 day thing. It's
5 days. Wow. 5 days of just you talking?
Yeah.
You got a lot of energy, man. You got a lot of energy. We do something that's called Dash Day that we used to bring a small group of people into our headquarters here in Fort Lauderdale. They used to fly around from all over the world, and I used to do a whole day event. At the end of the day, I can't even breathe. And it's, you know, it's for 5 days, man. Yeah. Bless you, man. That's difficult to do. What was, I'm curious, I'm going to ask it. What was the closing rate? I know you're probably telling people to go to the back of the room at the end of the seminar. What was the closing rate?
For
what are you selling? Yeah, what are you selling at the seminar? You're selling them obviously your program. Is it the 10K program?
Yeah, we'd sell, you know, 10K programs. We'd have a, you know, basically every event would be like a 6-figure thing.
Okay, that's good. Good. Yeah. And how much revenue in the last 12 months have you generated from just the funnels.com brand?
Probably around 7 figures-ish, maybe.
Okay. Good. Good. And where do you see yourself out in 12 months from today?
In terms of revenue or company size?
I think revenue and company size, you can share both if you want. Like, where do you see yourself? I know you do a lot of things. You have the funnels.com, you have wealth, right? So this is just one of multiple brands, right? But we wanted to do the podcast.
Yeah, funnels.com. No, I appreciate that as well. Funnels.com should definitely do over 8 figures alone next 12 months. My other brands should do equals similar amounts.
Okay. What do you have to do though? Because going from 7 figures obviously to 8 figures, it's not an easy task, especially in 12 months. What do you plan to do to get there? Is it just adding more team members, running more ads? What's the goal for you?
Just team needs to be expanded, execution, a little bit more execution, cash. So, you know, I follow scaling up methodology. I don't know if you're familiar with Vern Harnish. So he talks about team, execution, cash, and strategy, right? So at any given time, that's what my levers are. So let's just say I have cash. Let's just say I have execution and I have strategy. Okay, now who's the team that's going to help me build it, right? Yeah. So one of the things, the last 12 months, actually, I've taken lots of time off because I got married and stuff. So
congratulations.
Thanks. Last 12 to 18 months, I've kind of changed my focus, not just trying to do coaching and consulting, but I want to build out software for the next 5 to 10 years. And so, you know, I'm still in learning mode, if that makes sense. Like I'm learning about software and reading Mark Benioff, how we build.
Yeah, I'm in the same. Who's the number one CEO you're following right now? Is it Mark Benioff from Salesforce?
Yeah, Salesforce.
Yeah, he's incredible. Also, the CEO of HubSpot's great too.
Yeah. Who do you follow?
I like to follow. I follow multiple different people, and it's just because of the niche that I'm in, right? So I'm in the marketing and agency style niche, but the software that we're building obviously is relatable to not only serving the agencies, but serving the end users because they're the ones using the platform as well, right? So I follow the CEO of HubSpot a lot. I follow Mark Benioff a lot. I like to follow Jeff Bezos a lot also, just to see the way that you think at a company of that magnitude, right? Your mind has to work differently when you're managing 600,000 employees, right? Something up there has to be different, right? So I just like to see how people think differently. I think is a big one for me. And then I like to see patterns. I'm a big patterns person, right? So I like to watch all of these guys and gals. There's a lot of women, amazing women entrepreneurs that I follow as well. But I like to see what these people are doing and then see the patterns that's happening, right? And like you said, like the trends too.
Trends, yeah. So there's a guy that I really, really like his style. His name is Jason Fried from basecamp.com.
Yep.
So like just some of the things he says, like don't work weekends, like you can work 9 to 5 and build a business.
Did you read their book? Did you read the book from Basecamp?
Yeah, I've got the books actually here.
Yeah. I listened to the audio version of the book. I forgot what I did. I should a while back.
That's what it's called, Rework.
Rework. Yeah.
Rework. Yeah,
and they were talk about running lean, right? Yeah. They're super lean and they are super remote too. And they built this multi-million-dollar brand, which is incredible. So that book is awesome for anybody out there really thinking about like starting a company and worrying about like big costs and getting an office and stuff like that. Like go read that book. That'll change your perspective on business. What's the number one software that you use? What's your favorite software if you could strip everything back?
Trello.
Okay. Awesome. And last question I have for you before we wrap up here. If a new entrepreneur is coming into the space, what's the number one tip that you can give them that would shave years off of their like wasted time off of their life? You would save them time.
Almost most things in business don't matter except for delivering the customer a valuable product with a high converting offer. That's it. Like if there was, if you did 80-20 on 100 activities and then you did 80-20 again, it comes to like 96 and 4%. That 4% that one must focus on, develop, all the time, that's an ongoing process, is one high converting offer. Because if you can do that, everything else is easy, right? Like just recently, I just did my high converting offer. Now, suddenly I'm attracting the right team members. Now suddenly, cash is coming in much more faster than it's usually coming in. You know what I mean? And so it all starts with an offer that the marketplace wants. The big mistake people make is thinking that you need to be smart and that you need to come up with an idea. You need to go to a market that's underserved and that there's a lot of pain and problems in that market. And then you need to find a unique way to add massive value into that market in the form of creating a product or service, AKA an offer. And then you need to find a mechanism like a phone call, a seminar, a webinar, whatever, to sell the damn thing, to sell your solution. So that's basically.
I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it first. Shaqir Hussyin from funnels.com, all the way from the UK in London. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you having us on the Marketer's Mindset podcast. And we'll reach out to you in 12 months when funnels.com is doing over 8 figures in revenue. You got your new software. We'll have a whole nother podcast session. Thank you again, man.
Awesome. Thanks a lot,
Have a good one.